What's next? Living longer, better, smarter. This time out, motivate, move, and measure. This episode is made possible by VividPix.
VividPix is all about making it simple to relive your memories. This includes scanning or downloading photos and documents to create your family history, fast, easy, and affordable software to improve these images, and various education to help people do more. With Mary and Fred, we look forward to sharing with you on an ongoing basis many new ways to live longer, better, smarter, and not let your memories fade.
We are happy you're here with us. I'm Fred Fishkin, along with Mary Furlong. Hi, Mary.
Hi, Fred. We hope all our friends who are watching and listening are staying healthy. And one of our colleagues who helps inspire me to stay healthy, and a lot of older adults, is with us today. So very exciting.
This should be a great episode, and it makes today's topic more important than ever. Motivate, move, and measure. Stay with us. We have some great guests in store. First, Jolene Moore, Assistant Vice President of Resident Experience with Discovery Senior Living, one of the largest senior housing providers in the United States. Hi, Jolene.
Hey, everyone. How you doing?
So thank you for taking some time to talk with us today, Jolene. You've really become a leader in this space. Tell us a little more about your background and what's it been like the last 2 years?
Well, let's start with a little bit of my background, because I think that gives you a little bit of point of reference in what I want to bring to Discovery and to our industry as a whole. Is I grew up as a competitive athlete, and racing for Team USA, coaching for Team USA. I really focused on how do I bring peak performance, or how do I have my best race possible? And to do that, you have to bring the whole circle of life in. You have to have your activity or your physical activity. Well, then you have your massage. You have to eat well. You have to sleep right. You have to manage your stress. You have to attend to your spiritual, your meditation part of your well-being. Bringing that whole part of it to how we can help our residents, and even, again, our industry, help our residents live their best life, is what I want to do for Discovery. So I work each and every day to bring in, and I love your tagline, live longer, better, smarter, because we have to not only bring the inspiration and the motivation, but part of that is education. Why do we want to live longer, better? How do we live longer, better? But we really want to make sure that we bring that all together and then wrap it up in a package and bring all those components to our communities.
Okay, Coach. So let's talk about motivation. What are some of the things you've learned about the motivation that we all need from time to time when it comes to fitness and health?
Everybody's motivated differently. Marathon runners are motivated in one way. Our residents might be motivated in a different way. So the first thing we need to know is we need to learn about our residents. And what Mary and I had been talking about, how's she going to live longer, better? I didn't have to ask her, Mary, what do you like to do? Mary just started in our conversation. She's like, I love to walk. I love to walk. I love outside. I love the spring. So every time I talk to Mary, I said, Mary, how's your walking going? You got to get your walking in. Right. Our residents are the same way. I don't know about my parents. My mother hates to exercise, which is odd because that's what I do for a living. But so I have to figure out, what does she like to do? She likes to garden. She likes to line dance. We have residents that like to come to bingo, and people are like, bingo is bad. I'm like, no. If they like bingo, they have to get to bingo, right? They have to get to bingo. They have to come out of their apartment, walk down the hallway, get in the elevator, walk to bingo, sit with their friends, stand up, go back. So I need to motivate each individual to what they like to do. So that's the number one thing.
That's great. I had a colleague in Germany yesterday telling me that the seniors he worked with like to dance, that dancing and music is really powerful.
It is one of my favorite wellness activities, because it's, think of all the components. It's physical. It's mental if you line dance, because you have to follow a pattern. You have to learn a pattern. It's social because you're with other people. It's intellectual because, again, you're listening, or you have to be able to process that pattern. And then you're having conversations, and there's even science, brain science around conversation, where you have to listen, You have to process, and then you have to put back out information in a timely manner. So line dancing is one of my number one favorite types of exercise in senior living. Another motivator is also the education. You and I, each one of us, we can every day make a difference in our lives tomorrow. And, 20 years ago, there wasn't science around it. Maybe even 15 years ago, there is so much science around aging now. Whether you see a commercial about Prevagen, I love the Prevagen commercials, and people say, no, they're just trying to sell your product, and that product doesn't even work. Like, you know what they're selling me? In each commercial, there are people that are youthful, that they're older adults, but they're energized. They are doing some type of activity, exercise. They are doing another activity, like it's art, or it's writing a book, or it's book club, or it's having a conversation. They have a relationship with another person, and they're living healthy. They want to live healthy. So it's in the news. One of my favorite in the news things, as I show this picture, is, who all saw the pictures of Ruth Bader Ginsburg doing TRX? Right. She was doing TRX, and people would say, no, we don't want, my residents don't want that. And I'm like, did you ask them? Did you ask them? So there's it's in the news now. So now it's becoming more and more popular. So I love the science that's available today. Have you all seen anything like on the news or commercials with that?
Well, we have a personal anecdote of Charlotte Yeh, Dr. Charlotte Yeh of AARP, who's the chief medical officer. She works out with, I think, Tom Brady's trainer. And I just ordered the book that Tom Brady's trainer wrote. But when I first met you, Jolene, you suggested that we take a walk for tea, but we walk a little further. And I think that was a key for me, is to be with a friend and walk a little further. And just walking with friends is a big, important activity, I think, for older adults. How did you manage through fitness during the COVID in your communities? Because I know you were innovative there too.
Yes, and that was challenging, but as much as it was challenging, as much as I was committed to figuring it out, because we know the science of isolation, right? When you are isolated, you don't have social interactions and you don't have conversation. Remember back to the conversation where the comment of you have to listen, process, put it out. That's so important. And we also know that when you're isolated in a small room, you're less likely to move. There's not a lot of place to move around. And we also found that our residents got tired. So when it was okay to come back out, they were still tired. They're like, no, I'm okay. I don't need to come out.
Right.
So we did have to get innovative a number of ways, as simple as, hallway exercise class. If we had to be on lockdown, people could open up their doors and we would walk up and down the hallways with, pass out a band. Here's your band. Grab a water bottle. Here's your dumbbell. So we were able to, in one sense, do hallway exercises. And again, very, very important to get people up and having conversations. Another thing is in-house TV channel. We were able to play some videos. I know, we did have with Spiro 100. It was great. We were able to play those. They gave us free videos that we could play in our in-house TV channel. We were also able to give links for videos for people and give them instructions. Say, upload this video on your desktop or on your iPad. There were a ton of videos. On an app, Touchdown has an app that not all of our residents have, but a lot of our communities have had the app where you can pull up, whether it's a meditation app, whether it's an exercise app. We had to do that. Then, we could do one-on-ones. But since, in the last 2 years, we're out of isolation, our goal has been to try to get back to, I don't want a new normal. People keep saying new normal. I don't want a new normal. I don't want to call it that. I want to get people out and get us active. Is that old normal? Is that new? That's normal to me. We need to get people out and physically active. And whatever it is, if I can get a resident, encourage them to come down to happy hour or come down and get their mail, I'm like, there's a special drink at happy hour, but you got to come down and get it. That's just a couple of ways that we did during the pandemic. But now that we're out of that isolation of pandemic. Now I need to get people exercising and whatever it takes for them to walk down and to meet me. And one of a really fun strategies, I had someone do a 10-minute exercise, 10 minutes. And Mary, your story reminded me of that 10-minute exercise, because once you're doing 10 minutes, so like, hey, Mary, what do you think about 15?
I know. I should start every day, Fred, with a conversation. And so should everyone in the country, because you made me want to put on my tennis shoes and get going. And I love your holistic approach. So thank you so much for being with us, Fred.
Terrific, Jolene. Just a quick add-on question here. Your thoughts about step counters on your wrist or whatever? Are they an effective motivator, or does it really vary?
It depends. I mean, does it motivate you?
Yes.
So then you use them. Does it motivate me? Yes, I use it. But if it doesn't motivate Mary for a step, if Mary needs 30 minutes, go out for 30 minutes. Everybody's a little different. What I like with the step counters or with your phone is it helps you measure, because sometimes we're like, oh, that was good enough. Like, it was only 10 minutes. Come on, you promised me 30. I like to be able to measure, whether it's 10,000 steps or whatever that goal is. There is, it's not sitting on the couch is one thing. Walking the dog off the couch, that's better than sitting on the couch. But really, we need to do more, right? We need to do more. And if those step counters and those apps help us, then let's use them. And it goes back to, that 10-minute exercise. I couldn't get that. I really needed to increase the numbers. And I treat my fitness coordinators in a sense that we aren't LA Fitness. We don't wait for people to come to us. That's not the job. I didn't hire for the job. I hired you for the job to engage my residents. So I need you to reach out to them. Whether you inspire them by educating them on the science, educating them that, hey, you'll stay stronger. Do you know what sarcopenia is? You don't use it, you're going to lose it. Do you want to go on that bus outing and go on that hike or go to lunch? I need to educate them and say, why do residents want to do something? And if the step counter works, or think about all the apps. Why does the Fitbit app work? Why does, the meditation calm app work? The nutrition, there's so many fitness apps. They work because people like us use them. Our residents, are they going to use them? Let's not underestimate them. They might. I don't know how. We often underestimate the use of the use of technology by seniors, and shame on us, because if they have phones, they're gonna use it if we help them, provide them with something that's really meaningful and purposeful.
Well, the website for more information is discoveryseniorliving.com. Jolene, thank you so much for the motivation.
Awesome. You guys know where to find me.
Well, Fred, I've got my tennis shoes on. That was really motivating. And now it's time to get moving, but let's learn more. Tell us the next guest.
Well, to help us with that, to get moving, from Spiro 100, we have Lori Snow, Vice President of Strategic Partnerships. She's based in Wisconsin. Snow in Wisconsin. Hi, Lori.
Hi, Fred. Hi, Mary.
Hi. So Spiro 100 is a wonderful, innovative company that's doing streaming and fitness and wellness programs for older adults. Tell us a little more about the company and its mission, and also the quality of your instructors, Lori.
Okay. A lot to unpack there. So, the mission of Spiro 100 is to increase the quality of life for older adults, right? And to bring them programming to help. And it's funny now to say elders, because I'm an elder. I'm 60, so this applies to me. But to help, so I can say us, to help us live a more vibrant and active life. And they do this by partnering with some of the best instructors and senior living experts to curate world-class programming. And they put this together in a very affordable and easy to access platform.
So you have a team of trainers who create a variety of health and fitness classes. Give us some examples.
Right. So right now we have a team of 26 trainers, and they're the cream of the crop. These are the trainers that actually they've won awards. They are the trainers that tour the country and train other trainers in how to give classes. They're experts in the older body, the kinesiology, and the unique exercise requirements that that seniors have. And some of Stacy McCarthy, for instance, just won Trainer of the Year last year, so she's on our team. We have Dr. Deborah Rose, who is the creator of Fall Proof, which is the statistically number one fall prevention program in the country. She's part of our team, along with one of her master trainers. Then there's only 5 in the country. So, and David Dvorkin, we have conductor size, we have kickboxing, belly dancing, Tai Chi instructors, again, all the very best that you can find. So the variety is there, the expertise is there. And then we have an Emmy nominated producer, so we have the film quality, the lighting, we know that the volume is going to be right. The coloring is correct, making it as safe as can be for older folks to consume the video. We don't want anything confusing. We don't want anything that's not safe. This is, you can't just take fitness like beach body programming and soften it up for our seniors. We have different needs, and we realize that we concentrate on very purposeful and very safe programming, but in a variety that's fun and enjoyable.
So even when you're talking about kickboxing, the program there would be adjusted to accommodate for this particular demographic.
Right. And it's actually, it's not adjusted. It's created for the senior, right? It's very purposeful movement to do the things that we need to do. Like I said, we don't really need, most of us really aren't working to fit into the bikini. We're not looking for the washboard abs. What we want is stability, flexibility, and mobility. So the movements that are incorporated in our videos are going to be very purposeful for those outcomes, and designed to accommodate the things that we're dealing with, which is arthritis, right? Which are maybe, we're dealing with hip replacements, or, the different things that seniors are facing. So we need to program and have the fitness videos appropriate for the things that we're all dealing with at these ages.
So I see a couple of drivers. I know several people doing weight training because their grandchildren become toddlers. Then they get a little heavier, so they want to lift 40 pounds. That becomes a goal to keep up with the toddlers. But also, some people identify themselves as, I have arthritis. They start with the disease state. And I think a lot of people have been home during the COVID and muscles have atrophied. So tell us a little bit about where Spiro is available, and also how do you program around these different disease states? I think 40 million people have some form of arthritis, not just in the US, it's in Canada, it's around the world. So how does your programming connect into those disease states? And then where do we find you?
Right. So we're exactly as we do have a website available, much like Netflix, and it's designed for the senior living audience. And we have over 600 senior living communities that utilize Spiro 100. So you'll find us there if you're a resident of one of the 600 of our customers. But we've also have, once COVID hit, we very quickly incorporated an app, because we knew people living at homes, seniors aging in place, again, couldn't get to the gym, maybe, weren't comfortable going out and about, and even those living in apartment buildings were staying in. So we needed to get the programming to those individuals living independently. So we've created an app, and that can be found anywhere you buy an app. So if you have an Apple or Android in your app store, you'll find it. We're available on Roku, Fire Stick. So we also are just in the process of completing a deal with Independa, and you'll be able to find our app on LG televisions. So if you have an LG TV, under the Independent logo, you will find the Spiro app right there on your television. So yeah, we're out there and trying. We've partnered with Centrix, who is bringing content into many hospitals and senior living communities, and again, a variety of other technologies that are in senior apartment buildings and so forth. And so that a lot of that is on our website. So at the end, I think we'll give our website so people can find us a little easier. What was your other question?
So,
oh, the diseases. Yes. So, right. So we have just launched this year. We tested it a little bit last year, at the end of last year, and are launching it full bore this year in addressing those top ailments that seniors are dealing with. And arthritis, you mentioned arthritis, so I'll speak to that. So every month we are doing what we call workshops, and they are a little bit of learning and then a lot of movement. So, we're going to talk for about 10 or 15. We'll bring our experts on. We're going to talk about the issue that we're dealing with. So if it's arthritis, we're going to talk about arthritis, the things that the signs, the symptoms, what you're dealing with, resources. And then we'll go into about 30 to 40 minutes of movements and exercises that are appropriate to deal with that issue. So if it is arthritis, we all know weight-bearing exercises help build muscle around the joints and help provide that strength. February is Heart Month. So February's classes and again, they're on Thursdays they're on our website. I think they're at noon or 11 Central. They're free. Anybody can log into them. They're Zoom classes. And again, it's all dealing with heart health. And if you're dealing with any type of stroke recovery, heart attack, any of those issues, you have heart problems, we're going to address that in a 4-week series.
How exciting for you to join this company with this first-rate programming, based in LA, these Emmy Award-winning producers. Congratulations on the talent you've assembled. So this is a deep passion of yours. You've been in senior living for many years. Tell us how you got into it, kind of what you've learned along the way, and why you're so excited about this opportunity. And it's so great that it's right here in everyone's home, accessible through many different platforms, right?
Right. Yeah. Well, several things have led me down this path, but I think, just very honestly, my parents had me very late in life. So they were in their early 40s. So I was kind of a surprise. And most of my friends thought they were my grandparents and not my parents. So I grew up with with older folks. So I have a real passion for the elderly. And I think that most of the people that work in senior living or products for the senior market have that similar background. They had a grandpa or grandma that they were very close to, or they had that kind of connection, which may or may not be very unique. But my parents especially were not by label, because the label didn't exist back then, but they were wellness fanatics. My mother was organic. She had a huge organic garden, so she was very much into nutrition. Both of them had very active lifestyles, not in exercise, but just in. My father was a mason, so he was always, had hard labor. My mother was a gardener. She had 5 acres of an organic garden. So the mobility, keeping moving and eating right was a part of life. It was just common sense. And I see the world around me, and we're losing that. And we become, our technology is wonderful on one hand, and yet it's giving us a very sedentary lifestyle, which is, it's the new smoking, right? Not moving is the new smoking. We have to keep moving. Movement is so important. And I love that Jolene talked about motivation, because while we have the wonderful content, right? We have the exercise videos, and we have the best instructors. And when you turn it on, they will be there to motivate you. But you need to get motivated. I'm speaking out there to who's ever listening. You need to move. It's so important for every aspect of our lives to sleep better, to digest better. Our endorphins are released. We're happier. Anybody who's in a regular exercise routine knows that they just feel better. So we have to get off the couch. We have to turn the TV off, get away from the computer and move. And I'm passionate about it, just really passionate about it. And, if I had surgery on my spine and I was laid up for 3 months and I missed it. I missed moving. And when you don't move and you can't move and you're not feeling well, you don't feel like doing anything else. You don't want to play cards. You don't want to visit with friends. You don't want to go out because you don't feel well. So we have to lay that foundation of wellness. And then the rest of the things that make life worth living are much better.
This has been so inspiring. I think these are wonderful colleagues, but also like girlfriends, Fred, for me. These are the people that keep you fabulous and motivate us, and how wonderful that their work is in the world of senior housing and for so many older adults aging in place at home. So over to you, Fred.
Well, that quote, "Not moving is the new smoking." Wow. The website is spiro100.com, SPIRO100.com. Congratulations, Lori, on what you and the team there are doing.
Thank you. Thank you, Fred. Thank you, Mary, for everything that you're doing to help get all this great information out there. And I look forward to seeing all the rest of your podcasts.
Mary, the digital health space was once again very prominent at this year's Consumer Electronics Show. And during the show, Withings, a company based in France, unveiled something new called the Body Scan. And joining us is the company's Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Shikha Anand. Thank you for taking the time with us.
Thank you for having me.
Very nice to meet you, Dr. Anand. Tell us what the body scan is.
Absolutely. So with Body Scan, well, I'll tell you a little bit about our company. So Withings was the inventor of the smart scale. We began that journey in 2009 with the first kind of connected smart scale. And we've maintained the top selling smart scale in US, France, and in England. And so the interesting thing about Body Scan is that it moves us from a home scale to really a home health station, because it has a few additional features that take you way beyond the concept of weight. So the scale itself has a handle. You can actually pull up a handle that's a bit of a bar that you pull up from the very sleek profile of the scale itself. And with that handle, we end up with 4 points of contact because there are electrodes on each of the sides of the handle. And that unlocks 3 key features. The first is segmental body composition. In prior scales, we've been able to tell you the average percentage of fat, water, muscle, and bone. With this scale, we're actually able to tell you the differential proportions in your arms on each side, in your legs on each side, and in your trunk. And this is important for a variety of reasons. One is, particularly as people age, they may have a subtle injury and they may use one side more than the other. And they may realize that they have a little bit of muscle wasting on one side and not the other. And so as you start to know that, if you know you have less muscle, for example, on your left leg than your right leg, you can actually do a targeted workout where most people try to work out both legs equally. You may actually want to work out your left more than your right in that case. The other really important factor about this is we know from a clinical perspective that weight in your trunk carries much more risk than weight in your arms and legs. It comes with greater cardiovascular risk. And so the idea is that if you know that all of your weight's in your belly, you might want to be more aggressive about your regimen with diet and exercise so that you can actually manage your cardiovascular risk. And you may want to work with your clinical team to see, to get screened for diabetes, to see if there are other things that you might want to do on the medical side. So that's segmental body composition. The second big feature with the handle is a 6-lead ECG. So because we have electrodes in the feet, where you stand on the scale, and then also in the handlebar, you can we can do a 6-lead ECG. And that's really interesting because almost everything in the at-home setting is a 1 or a 2-lead ECG. So with the 4 points of contact, you end up with a 6-lead ECG. So you can actually see 6 axes of electrical activity in your heart, rather than just one, which you see commonly with the watch. So that may give us the ability to detect other arrhythmias, other anomalies in cardiac function that we can't see with a 1-lead. But of course, as we all know from the 1-leads and from our scan watch, the 1-lead actually works quite well for things like atrial fibrillation, and that function won't go away.
I said, good, you make me want to try it right away.
Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, I am really excited about it. And then the third feature is called a nerve activity score. And in this, we actually stimulate the sweat glands in your feet. And from that, we can actually get a reading on how well your small nerves in your feet are working, because the small nerves innervate those sweat glands. And so this is really important because you may see damage to those nerves with obesity or diabetes. And what we've done is actually partnered with a company called Impeto Medical. And they make this machine called Pseudoscan that's used in doctors' offices, neurologists, and endocrinologists to track people with neuropathies, with nerve damage. And we've adapted that technology to bring it into your home. And we can actually now get early signs on nerve damage, which is really interesting.
And how long does it take to get the results?
60 seconds. You stand on for 60 seconds and you can get all 3 of those things in that 60 seconds.
Wow. I've looked at your body cardio scale, which gives you something called a vascular age.
Yep.
I got to do better, but let me, so this does so much more than that, it seems.
That's right.
How will customers make use of this information? It's going to give you all this data in 60 seconds. Do you share this with medical professionals, or it's showing up on an app on your phone, right?
Yes. So a few different pieces. So to be clear, this will also have vascular age. It's just that these are the new features that get unlocked with the handlebars. It will have all the features of our top line scale that exists on the market right now. And in terms of what you do with the data, it's a really interesting question. They're in tandem with releasing Body Scan. We are actually overhauling our app. And so historically, our app has really been to track measurements over time. So you actually get the measurement on the display. We now have a color display on the scale. So the display is much more engaging. But if you want to look at your trends over time, you'll see those in the app. And historically, we've had kind of measurement curves and a little bit of description about what the measurements mean. We're really moving forward to make the app center around behavior change. So, telling you what you might do. We now have a clinical team. I've been at Withings for 6 months. We now have a clinical team that can really design medically appropriate insights. And so what we use is behavior change research to really help people, to give them personalized tips, and then to motivate them to take healthy actions. And that's what we'll be rolling out over the course of this year. So in terms of the information, it depends on the type of information. If the information is, as we had talked about, your left leg is weaker than your right leg, well, that's something where you may not need a clinical team. We could suggest some exercises for your left leg that might build some strength. Of course, we'll say check with your doctor to be sure that this is safe for you, but that might be something that we can provide as an insight in app. For other things like a diagnosis of atrial fibrillation, right? And we don't actually diagnose in app, but we can see some changes associated with atrial fibrillation. And to be clear, we're not yet cleared by the FDA for atrial fibrillation in the scale because the product isn't yet on the market. We are engaging in that process right now, but we do have clearance for the watch, for the scan watch. But for something like AFib, that's pretty scary, right? If your scale tells you have signs of AFib. So in that case, there are a few things that you can do. You can get a PDF report in the app that you can share with your own doctor. And of course, if you have a great primary care person, we want you to maintain that relationship and use this data to kind of work with your PCP to take the next steps to determine whether or not you need treatment. If you don't have that relationship available, which sadly many Americans don't, we actually will give you access to a doctor via telehealth inside our app. So that doctor can help you interpret the results, determine if you need any further testing, and then really determine a course of therapy.
And how many people in the household can it track?
8.
Wow.
So in most households, that's pretty good.
So tell us how this fits into the picture of healthcare overall. You know, a lot of us are trying to take charge of our own well-being and being more involved with it. Describe for us how you envision this fitting in.
Yeah, that's exactly how we see it. We hope that this will be a tool of empowerment for our users. Historically, a lot of the types of data that we're now seeing in Body Scan and in other products we'll be rolling out in the future are things that are, it's information that's controlled by your clinical team. You might have it through a patient portal, but it doesn't feel like your information, right? You don't feel empowered to kind of take action around it. It's feels like information that's owned by the doctor, kind of data issues aside. And so what we really want to do is empower people with data and empower them with longitudinal data, because the other challenge is that the metrics that we do in the doctor's office, you might know what your sodium is once a year, right? So that doesn't really give you a full picture. It depends on your context at the time of that visit. So what we want to do is give people longitudinal empowering data and behavioral insights associated with that so that they can make small changes, right? I mean, the vast majority of your health is controlled by the choices you make on every hour, right? Not by what happens in your doctor's office. And so we want to empower people to make those changes themselves, but also be really clear about when a professional might be useful, right? Exercise is really important in atrial fibrillation, but that alone isn't going to prevent a stroke if you have clinically significant AFib. So we want to make sure that you take action yourself and then also know when to flip the switch and get a partner, a professional involved.
So tell us about pricing and availability.
Yeah, so it'll be in the back end of the year is when it will be available. So in 2022, and the pricing will be $299.
Is there a subscription model attached as well?
There will be, yes. There'll be both a wellness model. So if you want deep exercise, deep nutrition content, things on that order, mindfulness content, that will be, and then there'll also be a clinical subscription, which will include the wellness content.
Is that a mandatory thing with the scale, or you don't have to subscribe?
No.
Yeah. So last year, as you mentioned, you brought the Scan Watch to the U.S., first watch that you've had cleared by the FDA for blood oxygen, I think, and ECG.
Correct.
And we should mention great battery life too. Very impressive, 30 days on a charge. So tell us how these things can work together.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. So on the Scan Watch, which I can show you, if you can kind of see that, and you see that there's a display. So it's cool because it looks like a regular watch, and it has 30-day battery life, which for me has been life-changing. I was notorious for leaving my watch on the charger for half of every week. So this is a really big upgrade for me. I actually track my steps every day. And so this will track activity, right? As many watches do. You can do a one lead ECG. You can do an oxygen saturation. And so, and then it also tracks your sleep if you wear it at night. And so that's going to work in tandem with your scale. Obviously, the most obvious relationship is that your activity is connected with your weight, right? And so you can look at those curves together in our app, and you can really get an understanding about how those things are tracking together. Hey, I was really active last month. I lost a pound or two, right? Those types of things. But I think that there are more subtle insights. We know people eat more if they sleep less. And so that's a really interesting correlation. In terms of, we talked about the relationship between exercise and atrial fibrillation. So there are a lot of different relationships. And so the idea is if you have this ecosystem of data, you can really start to manage your health holistically.
This is very exciting, Fred. I think this is a real step toward health in the home.
It sure is. The website for more information is Withings, WITHINGS.com. Thank you so much for spending time with us, Dr. Anand, and keep up the innovation.
Thank you for having me. This is a pleasure.
Well, I really look forward to the body scan. There's so much innovation and technology out there and so much more to come.
really is. We want to remind folks that our new monthly podcast, Longevity Deal Talk, is on the way. And you can always find us at maryfurlong.com/podcast. We'd love to hear your ideas. You can write to me at fishkin@textination.com.
And thank you for watching and listening. There's no better time to get healthy than the start of the year and to stay healthy. And how wonderful our 3 guests were today, Fred.
Really, we do appreciate you spending time with us. Our gratitude also to our sponsor, Vivid Pics, helping to restore photographs, memories, and more.